ఆయన సకల యోగ సాధకుడు, ఆయన సామాన్య జీవిత బోధకుడు, శక్తి ఆరాధకుడు, అన్నిటికీ మించి పర్యావరణ ప్రేమికుడు, ప్రకృతికి ప్రపంచానికి మేలు చేయాలనే జనహితుడు సద్గురు జగ్గి వాసుదేవ్. ఈశా యోగా సెంటర్లతో ప్రపంచం తలతిప్పి చూసేలా చేసిన ప్రసిద్ధుడు. దేశ దేశాల్లో 300 కేంద్రాలు, 70 లక్షల మంది వాలంటీర్లు, 30 ఏళ్లలో 20 కోట్ల మంది జీవితాలపై వెను ప్రభావం. సద్గురు ఇవాళ ఓ వ్యక్తి కాదు, మహాశక్తి. ఉత్సాహే కాదు, ఉద్యమశీలి. నదీ జలాల పరిరక్షణ కోసం ర్యాలీ ఫర్ రివర్స్, ప్రాణప్రదమైన కావేరీ నది డెల్టా రైతుల బాగు కోసం కావేరీ కాలింగ్, కరోనా వేళలోనూ నదీ వీరులతో జన జీవితాల కోసం పోరాడుతున్న వారియర్ ఆయన. 63వ జన్మదినం సందర్భంగా నదుల పునరుద్ధరణకు పునరంకితం అవుతున్న పర్యావరణ పరిరక్షణ గురు సద్గురు జగ్గి వాసుదేవ్ అమెరికా నుంచి సాక్షి కోసం ప్రత్యేకంగా ఇస్తున్న ఇంటర్వ్యూకు స్వాగతం, సుస్వాగతం. నమస్కారం సద్గురు.
నమస్కారం.
సాక్షి మీడియా తరఫున మీకు జన్మదిన శుభాకాంక్షలు.
ఏం బాగున్నారా మీరు? ఏమో మీకు వైరస్ వచ్చేసిందని చెప్పారే, బాగున్నారా ఇప్పుడు? సో నౌ యు ఆర్ కేపబుల్ ఆఫ్ సర్వైవింగ్ ఎనీథింగ్. వండర్ఫుల్. ఐఎమ్ గ్లాడ్ యు రికవర్డ్.
సద్గురు అంటే చాలా మందికి పుట్టినరోజు అనేది ఒక చాలా మంది వాళ్ళు చేసుకుంటారు, కానీ మీలాంటి వాళ్ళకి జనం చేసుకుంటారు. అలాంటి కొద్ది మంది వ్యక్తుల్లో మీరు ఒకళ్ళు. 63వ జన్మదినం మీది. ఇప్పుడు ఏమనిపిస్తుంది? మీ మనోభావాలు ఎలా ఉన్నాయి ఇప్పుడు?
Well, I don't count my life with years. So, I don't feel 63. I don't, measure my life in any terms of either years or things that I do or so-called achievements in life. I don't measure my life like that. For me, it's a profoundness of experience within me right now is the only thing that matters. This is what I'm trying to bring to people also, because this is all that matters. What you accumulate in the form of knowledge, in the form of money, wealth, people, relationships, these accumulations cannot enhance your life. It is only about how profound the experience of life is, that's all it is. So, that doesn't happen because of years, that happens because of the keenness of perception and attention, or the other way around, attention and perception, that you make your attention very keen. In turn, your perception becomes keen, and only what you perceive is your experience, rest is all imagination in the mind. This is the greatest tragedy of human life, that people are thinking their thought and emotion is life. It is just their psychological drama. Once they mistake their own drama as life itself, then something very, very precious is lost, that is life. Because the only thing that we have is life and life alone. Everything else is made up. Socially, psychologically, it's made up. So, living the make-believe in this culture, we always said it's Maya. Yeah, but people started thinking Maya means life does not exist. No, life exists, but it is screened by your own mind. Your mental structure is screening the life and the life process and the source of life. If you open the screens, then you see it's a phenomenal experience. So, I don't count my life in terms of years, experiences, or even in terms of achievements or accumulations of things and whatever else. So, I don't feel it's 63. I'm just right there. It feels like I was born day before yesterday. I'm still like that.
3 ఏళ్ల క్రితం 2017 నాకు ఇప్పటికీ బాగా గుర్తు, ర్యాలీ ఫర్ రివర్స్ ఒక ఉద్యమం ప్రారంభించారు. సంవత్సరం క్రితం కావేరీ కాలింగ్ మరొక ఉద్యమం. ఇప్పుడు ఈ సంవత్సరం రివర్ రివైటలైజేషన్. అంటే ప్రతి పుట్టినరోజుకి ఒక ప్రత్యేకమైన ఒక ఉద్యమంతో జనం కోసం, ప్రజల కోసం, ప్రపంచం కోసం మీరు ఏదో ఒక కార్యక్రమాన్ని చేపట్టడం కనిపిస్తుంది.
No, it is not particular that it has to be done on this day, but right now people are building this up as River Revitalization Day. And this is my way of making sure there are no birthday celebrations, so that all the people involved, I put them to good work, so that there's no celebrations as such. Otherwise they will cut cake, eat more and more and do all kinds of funny things. So I thought let them celebrate by doing something that's useful, which is very vital for this generation. If you don't do this now in this generation, it could be very late in another 30 to 40 years' time. So right now I know Andhra Pradesh is flooding all over, so people think we have too much rivers. No, that is not the case. We must understand flood and drought are relatives. If this one comes, that one will come. Because flood essentially means the rainwater that came. First of all, we must understand this, Andhra Pradesh people must understand this, it's very important, because they have 2-3 great rivers. To make good use of this, what is needed is, right now, if rivers have to flow, we must first of all understand river in this country, in India, is not a source of water. Why I'm saying in India is, suppose you take European rivers as an example, most of the water there is coming from melting of ice or snow or glaciers in the mountains. But only 4% of Indian rivers, that too in northern India, comes from glacial melting. Rest is all just monsoon water. The only source of water for our country is monsoons. So, this rain that comes in somewhere between 40 to 80 days in a year, we must be able to store it for 365 days. So we decided to build big dams in the past. Fortunately, we're not building any such dams anymore. We did that thing because looking at the American model, United States of America built enormous dams, huge, massive-sized dams. We did the same thing, not realizing we're in a tropical country. The important thing that we need to understand is the soil in the world, the top soil in the world, which is only about approximately an average of 39 inches across the planet. This 39 inches of soil is capable of storing 800% more water than all the rivers on the planet. The soil is capable of holding that much. Now, the Kaveri calling is an attempt to do this, that if you plant 242 crore trees, you can sequester 9 to 12 trillion liters of water, which is 60% of Kaveri's flow right now. So the important thing is to enrich the soil in such a way the water stays in the soil. If water stays in the soil, that is when it is most useful to us. You can grow crops across the country. How do we keep water in the soil? The only way you can do it is by enhancing the organic content. You cannot enhance the organic content by putting fertilizer. You can only do it by putting leafy material from the trees and animal waste. The strength of the soil determines how healthy and well we are, how nourishing the food is. So, right now the approximation of the scientific study is showing that we have topsoil only for another 60 years on this planet. After that, we won't be able to grow anything. 60 years. That means we are living as if we are the last generation on the planet. 52% of India's soil has been declared as, degenerated soil. Over 40% is declared as fallow land. What was once the richest agricultural land on the planet? Why I am saying this is, southern India is one place in the world which has over 12,000 years of agricultural history, no other place like that on the planet. So we have been in agriculture for that long, but we managed to keep our soil rich, but in 2 generations, in the last 70 years, we have brought soil to such a place where over 52% is declared as degenerated soil. In another 30 to 40 years in India, we won't be able to grow much at all for this population. With such a big population, with 1.4 billion people on our hands, if we do not rejuvenate the soil, we are heading for a major disastrous situation. Very few countries in the world can crop 12 months of the year, but we can do. I know Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, we are cropping 3 crops in a year. But now that is slowly coming down to 2 and to 1. In Kaveri Delta, they're doing only 1 crop now. Because 5 months of the year, Kaveri dries up nearly 300, 400 kilometers before it reaches the delta. It's just drying up. Kaveri is no more a perennial river. Krishna is no more a perennial river. Everybody knows, in the textbooks we are all reading Krishna, Kaveri, Godavari, Ganga, Narmada, but we need to understand hundreds of other small rivers are there to support this river. We are killing all those tributaries and expecting the big one to flow from somewhere. This idea that Ganga came from heaven is a very problematic idea, because Ganga came from the peaks of Himalayas. So we said it came from Shiva's head, it is all right to metaphorically see it that way and hold it sacred in our hearts, that is good. But thinking it is coming from anywhere, somewhere else and it'll keep coming forever is a foolish idea, because the only source of water we have is monsoon. And we have learnt English ways right now, as English people keep singing, rain, rain, go away. Our children are also singing rain, rain, go away, not understanding the only source of life, that is water, and the only source of water is monsoon. We should never say rain, rain, go away. I have been telling all the journalists, they'll say bad weather. Where did you get this? This is all English stuff. There is no bad weather in tropical climate. More rain means better life. Flooding is happening because we have not managed the land properly. So Kaveri Calling is a significant project in this direction, because these 83,000 square kilometers, we are planting 242 crore trees. This year, in spite of the virus, our volunteers have been there on the ground, farmers have responded wonderfully, Karnataka government also giving subsidies for the farmers to plant trees. This is a very positive development, and many other policy changes which will facilitate tree planting across the country has been brought about in the last 4-5 years' time.
సద్గురుతో ఇంటర్వ్యూలో మరిన్ని విశేషాలు తెలుసుకునే ముందు ఒక చిన్న బ్రేక్. సద్గురు, ఈ విషయంలో మీరు చాలా యువతరాన్ని చాలా ఇన్స్పైర్ చేస్తున్నారు. అంటే కేవలం 42 రూపాయలు, 42 రూపీస్తో ఒక శాప్లింగ్ కి మీరు దానం చేస్తే గనక యూ కెన్ పెరెన్నియల్ గా దాన్ని పదే పదే చేయడం మూలంగా ఈ కావేరీ డెల్టాని పునరుద్ధరించవచ్చు, ఆ నదిని చేయొచ్చు అని చెప్పేసి చెప్తున్నారు. చాలా మంది రిటైర్ అయిపోయి రిలాక్స్ అయ్యే ఏజ్ లో మీరు యంగర్ జనరేషన్ తీసుకొని వచ్చి వాళ్ళతో మమేకం అవుతూ వాళ్ళని ఈ ఉద్యమంలో భాగస్వాములు చేస్తున్నారు. ఇట్ ఈస్ క్వైట్ ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ అండ్ quite innovative also.
I request everybody in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, we are not limited only to Kaveri, we will come to other things, but we are changing the policies right now, we are busy changing the policies in the government. We will instigate similar projects everywhere, but many others locally can take it up. We will give them the necessary support and the know-how how to do it. With UN agencies involved, this will come to every state. But right now, Kaveri Calling being success is important. So for this, I request everybody, because it's not a one-time thing. I know people have contributed from 122 countries for Kaveri Calling till now. But one time is not the thing. For just for the sake of your commitment and you being conscious about it, every month please at least donate 1 tree, 42 rupees. You can't buy a coffee today for 42 rupees, all right? So 42 rupees, when entire population goes for this, there is a certain consciousness, and when everybody is involved, it can't fail. This is not my project, this is not Isha Foundation's project, this is not Karnataka or Tamil Nadu government's project. This is the project of this generation. We have to make it happen. The United Nations agencies are very excited about this simply because they see if this one thing becomes success, this can be a game changer for the entire tropical world.
ప్రపంచమంతా వణికిపోతున్న పరిస్థితుల్లో కూడా కానీ నదీ వీరులు అనేటువంటి ఈ వాలంటీర్లు, మీరు ఈషా వాలంటీర్లు కొన్ని వందల మంది, వేల మంది కావేరీ కాలింగ్ లో ప్రాణాల్ని పణంగా పెట్టి అక్కడ పనిచేస్తున్నారు గ్రౌండ్ లెవెల్లో. దీని గురించి మీరు ఏం చెప్తారు?
That is the most wonderful thing. that when something is really needed, the youth of this nation will stand up. I have confidence in that. I said Vivekananda's life, when I look at it, I feel ashamed because he asked, give me 100 people, dedicated people, I will change the face of this nation. Well, we did not give him those 100 people. As a nation, we did not give those 100 dedicated people who will just function without thinking, what about me?
You are giving lots of people now.
Yes, but the challenge is much bigger now.
అమెరికాలోని ఆశ్రమం నుంచి మాకు ఈ ప్రత్యేక ఇంటర్వ్యూ ఇస్తున్నారు. అమెరికాలో పరిస్థితి కూడా మీరు చూస్తున్నారు. మరో 2 ఏళ్ల పాటు ఈ కరోనా పరిస్థితి ఉంటుంది అని చెప్పేసి ఒక వినపడుతోంది. మానవ జాతి చూసినటువంటి అతిపెద్ద ఉపద్రవాల్లో ఇది ఒకటిగా మిగిలిపోతుందా? ఆర్ దిస్ టూ విల్ పాస్ అని మనం అనుకోవచ్చా?
See, people who… the problem with a whole lot of people is, whatever disasters happen or whatever happens in the society, there are some people who are trying to make a tailor-made philosophy around it. So they will say, this too will pass. Well, you and me also will pass, what about it? I know this has become a famous philosophy in the world. If I say this, many people will get angry because they're hanging on to this to live a very pacified life. This too will pass means what? Yes, this will also pass. Why don't we pass today? Is that what you're saying? So life needs to happen means human effort is needed. So, as a situation, every generation faces various kinds of situations. If you look back in 20th century, the kind of situations they have faced. Well, in India, there was a freedom struggle, there were famines. The Bengal famine cost 4 million people's lives in a matter of 3 to 4 months, and over 1 million Indian soldiers went and fought in World War II. Many died and many came back without limbs. Well, the World War itself cost about 75 million lives, World War I cost about 40 million lives, Spanish flu cost about 50 million lives. Compared to all that, we are doing very well, all right? In many ways, compared to what other generations have gone through, this is a soft hit on us. If we behave sensibly, responsibly, very easily we can pass through this. If we have no sense, people are throwing coronavirus parties, then they will suffer. Little responsibly if you behave. Responsibly means just this. Generally, this cycle is believed to be 14 days. Some people are saying 28 days. All right. 28 days, if all of us knew how to meditate, let us say, 28 days, all of us simply sat in one place, meditated by ourselves. Eat well, meditate. 28 days, it'll be over. But that much sense we don't have. So in many ways, slowly we're beginning to understand we cannot go about life wantonly. In some way, nature itself has provided this opportunity. I'm not saying virus is a lesson, I'm not saying that. I don't want to weave philosophies around tragedies. Yes, it is a tragedy. Yes, it has hurt us a lot. So many people have lost their lives. So many people have lost those who are dear to them. So many people have lost their livelihoods in terms of jobs and businesses, small businesses closing down, many things happening. But whatever life throws at us, we don't have a choice about it. Life throws what it throws. What we make out of it is definitely our choice. This is a time to exercise that choice. That is why we are called human beings. No other animal is referred to as a being. We don't call a tiger being, an elephant being. No, only this one is called a being because we are supposed to know how to be. If we know how to be, this is not a big challenge. We can pass through it and come out much better than what we were. Maybe it'll last for 2 years, maybe it'll last for 4 years. So what? We can come out better if we know how to be. So, this is a time for humanity to wake up and understand life means what is happening here within you. What's happening around you is social drama, it's fine. You must conduct that also well. But life means this is it. You and me are alive. Me without virus, you with virus, you're alive. Aren't we fortunate? Hello? Because this is all we have. We may think we have many other things. No, the only thing we have is life. So you're alive means you must make the best out of it. doesn't matter what's the situation. So whatever the situation, especially if the situation is challenging, should we not come out wiser, better in every possible way? Let's do that.
సద్గురుతో ఇంటర్వ్యూలో మరిన్ని విశేషాలు తెలుసుకునే ముందు ఒక చిన్న బ్రేక్. మనకింత విజ్ఞానం ఉంది, వైజర్ బెటర్ ఉన్నటువంటి ఒక సంప్రదాయమైనటువంటి జ్యోతిషం ఉంది, యోగా ఉంది, ఇవన్నీ ఉన్నా కూడా ఎందుకని మరి 2020 అనేది ఇలా ఉంటుంది, విజన్ 2020 ఘోరంగా ఉంటుందని ఎవరు ఊహించలేదేంటి?
విజ్ఞానం ఉంది అంటే అజ్ఞానం కూడా ఉంది కదా.
జ్యోతిష్కులు, మన సంప్రదాయ విజ్ఞానం, మన యోగా ఎవరు ముందు?
See, I don't want to comment about the astrologers because it's always 50-50, all right? But about yoga, we've been constantly saying that human system is becoming weaker than ever before in the history of humanity. Human beings as physical bodies are much weaker than ever before. I've been talking about this for over 35 years, that if you don't strengthen this, anything can affect you. Common cold can kill you one day. So right now, what are the scientists saying? The only thing that will make you live through this is a strong immune system. Well, we have created a very strong immune system for millions of people because that is the most vital thing. Virus is not some alien stuff. Virus live… variety of viruses and bacteria and microbes live within us. They are a part of our life. One more new visitor has come, new guest. We are not able to handle him, all right? Sometimes some guest you can't handle, you know. This is a new guest, we are not able to handle him properly. But if your system is strong, most people are asymptomatic. What does it mean? That means they're handling the guest okay.
అతిథి దేవో భవ.
I didn't say that.
సద్గురు అంటే మీరు ఇందాక చెప్పినట్టుగా ఇప్పుడు అంటే లాట్ ఆఫ్ ట్రెడిషనల్ దీంతో చేయొచ్చని మీరు కూడా అక్కడ కొన్ని వేల గ్రామాలకి అక్కడ నీలవేంబు కషాయం కానివ్వండి, సుక్కు కాఫీ కానివ్వండి అందరికి పంచి పెట్టడం అవన్నీ చేయడం చేస్తున్నారు. అట్లానే సింహక్రియ అనే ఒక ప్రత్యేకమైనటువంటి శ్వాసకి సంబంధించినటువంటి ఒక యోగా పద్ధతిని మీరు పాపులరైజ్ చేశారు. వీటి పరిణామాలు, వీటి ప్రభావం చాలా మందికి బెనిఫిట్ అయినట్టుగా కనపడుతుంది. దాని గురించి చెప్తారు.
సింహక్రియ అనేదండి ఇప్పుడు 3 నిమిషాలు ఒక నాళ్ళలో 3 times చేస్తే దే విల్ బి ఎ బిగ్ బెనిఫిట్. అది చేయలేకపోతే ఏం చేసేది? ఈవెన్ దాట్ యూఆర్ నాట్ 3 minutes 3 times a day, if you're not willing to do something for your well-being and life, if you're not willing to do that, well, what to do? In some way you don't value your life. Some way your life is not worth investing a few minutes a day for your well-being, then of course life will happen the way it happens. Then you can say this too will pass. It will pass, of course. The very way South Indian diet is, if you go by traditional diet, most of you will be asymptomatic and pass through this effortlessly. All the ingredients are there in Southern Indian diet, which naturally takes care of you. This doesn't mean nobody will die, they will, but most people have given up that traditional diet and they're onto something else and something else because they're all reading these textbooks and thinking everything is in the textbook. What we learned over thousands of years is not valuable. What you learn in the school for 2 years is valuable. This is a completely wrong approach to life because out of thousands of years of observation, we have seen that this is how it works. But now, unless something comes from a laboratory, it is not true. There's a whole lot of people, semi-educated people, you know, whose idea of science is high school textbook. Such people will say, where is the science? If I say, see, make sure you consume so much of turmeric every day and this and this every day, your immune system will be strong, they'll say, where is the science? Because the science has to come from an American university. And there is no turmeric in American university, they never studied that. So what can I do? See, when we said you do yoga, you will be healthy, they said, where is the science? Now American universities are studying and saying yoga works very well. You know, people, professors from Indiana University, Rutgers, Harvard University and other universities have studied the inner engineering practices, what we teach, the Isha Yoga. And now they are saying, your immune system is way better by doing this. Not only that, your mental condition is much, much better because your BDNF factors, the brain-derived neurotropic factors are 300% better, and naturally you will be happy. Everything chemically they are showing it. But why it has to come from an American university? It has to come from Harvard University. That's why we gave the material to them and they are studying and saying, yes, this works miraculously well. But we have been telling you for 1,000 years. When did you get enslaved? Your enslavement is only 250 years old, but we got released 70 years ago and your brains have still not come out of it. You need to understand, a 10,000, 15,000-year-old culture has a wisdom of its own. It is science. Science doesn't come from textbook. Science need not come from a laboratory. Science is observation of life. Understanding and wisdom about life is science by itself. So, if one follows traditional methods, simply Nilavembu Kashayam is not new. Today it is sounding like some strange thing because everybody is drinking this cough syrup and that cough syrup. Always in Tamil Nadu, in every village it was there. But everything is banished in the last 25–30 years. Now we are bringing it back and now everybody is saying this is a miracle. This is not a miracle, this is something that we knew forever.
బహుశా అంటే ఈషా యోగా సెంటర్ లో దాదాపు కొన్ని వేల మంది అక్కడ నివసిస్తున్నా కూడా అక్కడ ఒక్క కరోనా కేసు కూడా రాలేదు అంటే ఇటువంటి సంప్రదాయమైనటువంటి విధానాన్ని పాటించడం అని అనుకోవచ్చా? ఆ మిరకిల్ మీ ద్వారా సాధ్యమైంది అనుకోవచ్చా?
అక్కడ ఈషా యోగా సెంటర్లో ఓవర్ 3,000 పీపుల్ ఉన్నారండి. ఒక్క కేసు కూడా లేదు. ఇక్కడ కూడా జనాలు ఉన్నారు. ఇక్కడ ఈషా ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్నర్ సైన్సెస్ అని అమెరికాలో, ఇక్కడ ఒక కేసు లేదు. మన కమ్యూనిటీలో ఫ్యూ మిలియన్ పీపుల్ ఆర్ దేర్. ఇప్పుడు వరకు వరల్డ్ వైడ్ ఉన్నారు. ఇప్పుడు వరకు నాకు తెలుసు, టు ద ఎక్స్టెంట్ ఐ నో, టు ద ఎక్స్టెంట్ ది ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ హెస్ కమ్ టు మీ, not even 8 people have died out of these millions of people. Okay? Many have gotten infected, but they've come out successfully because anyway the recovery rate is good, so maybe it's just that. But definitely Yoga Center is a demonstration that thousands of people can live in one place, very close proximity, they eat in one place, they assemble, they do things, they do practices, there's space of course, but still not a single infection has happened. This is, one thing is living consciously, another thing is a yogic practice. Food also is an important aspect.
మీరు మంత్రించిన విభూతి కూడా ఇచ్చారని చెప్పేసి నేను చదివాను.
See, vibhuti is just a medium. We can load it with so many things, for different purposes it's done different ways. So this was given as application upon the body, not for consumption, as application upon the body to create a certain level of immunity in the system. There is a whole science about how to use vibhuti. I know right now textbook scientists will pounce on me and immediately say, how can ash have any quality? Well, ask them to, refer to scientists who have studied these things. Ash that comes from wood has one quality, ash that comes from coal another quality, ash that comes from the smashanam has another quality. Every ash has a different quality. There is a certain way to use this. This is a science of vibhuti. There's a whole science in the yogic system about how to use a specific ash for your well-being. So, yes.
స్వామీజీ, సద్గురు ఇంకొక మాట కూడా అడగాలి. అంటే ఇంత పెద్ద ఆర్గనైజేషన్, దాదాపుగా ఒక ప్రపంచవ్యాప్తంగా 300 కేంద్రాలు, ఒక 70 లక్షల మంది వాలంటీర్లు ఉన్నటువంటి పెద్ద ఆర్గనైజేషన్కి ప్రపంచంలో ఉన్న పరిస్థితుల్లో ప్రభావం కూడా ఉంటుంది కదా. ఈ పరిస్థితుల్లో ఈ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ నడపడానికి ఒక హెడ్గా, ఒక మదర్గా, ఒక ఫాదర్గా ఎంత కష్ట నష్టాలు, ఎంత ఇబ్బంది పడుతున్నారు?
నష్టాలు చాలా ఉందండి, కష్టాలు ఏం లేదు మాకు. నష్టాలు చాలా ఉంది, కష్టాలేం లేదు. మేము ఎలాగంటే అందరూ ఆశ్రమంలో 2 భోజనాలు చేస్తారు, నేను ఒకటే చేస్తాను. ఇప్పుడు చాలా జనాలు ఎంత ఆశ్రమంలో కష్టమైతే మేము అందరూ ఒకే భోజనాలు చేస్తామని చెప్తారు. మనకి నష్టాలు ఉంది అంటే కష్టాలు లేదు. యాజ్ ఐ టోల్డ్ యూ ఎర్లియర్, వాట్ లైఫ్ థ్రోస్ అట్ us is not our choice. What we make out of it is our choice.
కానీ కొన్ని వేల మంది వాలంటీర్లు కేవలం కంద, చామదుంప, గంజి వీటితోటి కొన్ని నెలలుగా అక్కడ కూర్చొని కష్టపడి పనిచేస్తున్నారని నేను విన్నాను.
అవునండి.
ఒక ఒక హృదయం ద్రవించిపోయేటువంటి ఒక విషయం.
Yes, this is what dedication and devotion can do to a human being. There's a different kind of strength in them. It's not just the food that they eat. They are not counting their calories, they are not counting how much protein, how much vitamin, what am I eating. There's something very beautiful Gautama, the Buddha said, you have Nagarjuna Sagar in your state. I have camped there on the Nagarjuna Sagar dam site for 3 days. In a small tent, I lived there for 3 days. So Gautama said, when his monks complained, some days food is not coming, this is happening, that is happening, but we got food, but there are so many people hungry. So Gautama said, when you're very hungry, if you give away your food, you will become very strong, not weak.
సద్గురుతో ఇంటర్వ్యూలో మరిన్ని విశేషాలు తెలుసుకునే ముందు ఒక చిన్న బ్రేక్. ఆధ్యాత్మిక సాధకులు అంటే ఏదో ఆముష్మిక సాధనలు, లేకపోతే యోగా, లేదా మరొకటి ఆధ్యాత్మిక సాధనలు ఉంటారు. మీరు తెల్లారు లేచిన దగ్గర నుంచి ప్రకృతి, పర్యావరణం, జీవితం, మనిషికి, పర్యావరణానికి, ఎకాలజీకి, ఎకానమీకి ఉన్న లింకు, దీని మీద మాట్లాడతారు. మీరు మిస్టిక్ అనుకోవాలా, సాధకుడు అనుకోవాలా, లేదా బోధకుడు అనుకోవాలా, లేదు పర్యావరణ ప్రేమికుడు అనుకోవాలా?
You're trying to define me, am I an environmentalist, am I a yogi, am I a mystic, I'm this, that. I'm just life in full throttle. So if you have to be alive, do you have to breathe? Yes, so air must be there. If you have to be alive, do you have to drink water? So rivers must flow. If you have to be alive, do you have to eat food? So land must be rich. I'm not talking anything other than life. People have segmented life into various parts and they think it all happens separately. It doesn't happen separately. Life is happening as one big whole. Whether you perceive it that way and you're a part of it, or you make compartments out of life and imprison yourself in those compartments. No, that's not the way to live, because life is happening as one whole. You have no business to separate it, because you cannot separate it. Those who are not yogis must stop breathing. Those who are yogis must stop eating. This is their idea of life.
సద్గురు, మీరు యోగి అయ్యుండి కూడా, అంటే అన్లైక్ మెనీ అదర్ యోగిస్, మీరు వంట చేయడం గురించి మాట్లాడతారు, జీవితం గురించి మాట్లాడతారు. మొన్న ఈ కరోనా కాలంలో నిధుల సేకరణ కోసం మీరు ప్రత్యేకంగా భైరవ అనేటువంటి ఆర్గానిక్ పెయింటింగ్ వేయడం కానీ ఇవన్నీ చేశారు. అంటే కేవలం ఒక నిధులు సేకరించి దాని ద్వారా ప్రజలకి ఉపయోగపడేలా చేయడం కోసం. దాని మీద మీకు కొన్ని విమర్శలు కూడా వచ్చాయి. ఇలాంటివి చేసినప్పుడు మీకు ఏమనిపిస్తూ ఉంటుంది?
I'm not ruled by people's opinions. Somebody is praising me, it doesn't mean anything. Somebody is saying nasty things about me, it doesn't mean anything, because I am not ruled by people's opinions. I am ruled by the innermost source of life. The very source of life is throbbing within me, is alive, and I'm conscious of that all the time. So I'm guided by that, I'm fired by that, I'm propelled by that. So socially today somebody will say wonderful things about you, tomorrow they'll say nasty things about you, another day they will worship you, another day they will abuse you. This is according to people's ignorance, it'll happen. This means nothing to me.
కరోనా తర్వాత ఒక కొత్త న్యూ నార్మల్ అనేది ఇప్పుడు ఒక మంత్ర అయిపోయింది. న్యూ నార్మల్ అనేది ఆధ్యాత్మిక వాతావరణంలో వాట్ వుడ్ బి ద న్యూ నార్మల్?
See, people were never normal in my opinion. So how can they come to new normal when they were not even normal even before? Normal means what? Normal means you must breathe, you must be alive, you must be… It is joyful, because joyful is right now abnormal, misery is normal. Hello? But tell me, when you were 5 years of age, was joy normal or misery normal? Joy was normal, isn't it? If at the age of 5 joy was normal, by the time you were 30, ecstasy should have been normal. But unfortunately, misery became normal because you're understanding your psychological conditions as reality. Your psychological conditions are not real. It's made up in your mind. You must make it up the way you want. But unfortunately, you have an out-of-control mind. it causes torture to you. Sitting, standing, it's causing torture to you. You like to give it many names, you call it stress, anxiety, misery, this one, that one, all kinds of things. You've invested yourself in that misery. I'm saying, if your mind was taking instructions from you, would you choose to be miserable or joyful?
Joyful.
Joyful? Yes. So obviously you have an out-of-control mind. This is just like your right hand comes and starts slapping you in the face, and you think it's normal, and the new normal is it'll slap you in the head. I don't think this is normal. Misery is not normal. Human beings living blissfully is normal because we are human beings. We are supposed to know how to be. If you don't know how to be, there's nothing normal about you. You're quite abnormal. Maybe your abnormality is within the socially accepted norms.
సద్గురు, అంటే మీరు స్ట్రెస్ గురించి కూడా మాట్లాడారు. ఇవాళ వర్క్ ఫ్రమ్ హోమ్లు వచ్చేసినాయి, ఆఫీస్లో చాలా మందికి ఉద్యోగాలు పోయినాయి, కొంతమందికి జీవితంలో మీరు ఇందాక చెప్పినట్టుగా లైవ్లీహుడ్ పోయింది. ఈ స్ట్రెస్ఫుల్ వాతావరణంలో ఏ రకంగా మనుషులు బతకడానికి ఈ రాబోయే రోజుల్లో ఎటువంటి పద్ధతులను అనుసరించాలంటారు?
No, all these days people were complaining, going to the office was stressful. Now you're working from home, at least there you must be joyful. No, it's doubly stressful now, because now boss and wife, boss and husband both are troubling you. So I'm saying, your family is not stressful, your work is not stressful, the world is not stressful. You just do not know how to manage your own mind, your own emotions, your own chemistry, your own body. You don't know how to manage this, so you're stressful. But you think it's because of your wife or husband, you think it's because of your children, you think it's because of your boss, you think it's because of the world around you. No, it is simply that you have not learnt how to manage your own faculties. How unfortunate.
మ్యాన్ ఉమెన్ రిలేషన్షిప్ కూడా ఇప్పుడు ఈ కరోనా కాలంలో చాలా ఒక స్ట్రెస్ఫుల్ గా తయారైంది. స్త్రీలకి పురుషులకి మధ్యలో కూడా, అది ఆఫీస్లో కావచ్చు, ఇంట్లో కూడా కావచ్చు. దానికి సంబంధించి కూడా ఎటువంటి, అంటే ఈ జెండర్ దీనిలో ఎటువంటి జాగ్రత్త తీసుకోవాలని ఒక గురువుగా మీరు ఏం చెప్తారు?
So maybe after this corona, lot of vairagyam will come and many people will take to sannyas. I'm looking forward to that. Because with distance you did not know what it is. Now being cloistered together, maybe it is so. Or maybe many people will fall absolutely in love with each other and live well. Any one of those things must happen. Those who can live joyfully with each other, they should live. Those who cannot must learn to stay alone, isn't it?
మీ గురించి ఒక చిన్న వ్యక్తిగత విషయం అడిగి నేను ముగిస్తాను సద్గురు. మీరు తెలుగు వారిని, మీకు తెలుగు మూలాలు ఉన్నాయని, తెలుగు ల్యాండ్ తోటి మీకు చాలా అనుబంధం ఉందని చెప్పేసి ఎప్పుడు వింటూ ఉన్నాం. దాని గురించి మీ మాటల్లో వినాలని నేను మా సాక్షి ప్రేక్షకుల కోసం.
తెలుగు నాకు మాతృభాష. అంటే ఈ 40 సంవత్సరాల్లో కొంచెం కొద్దిగా అలవాటు లేకపోయింది. I'm not with my family, I'm not in Telugu lands, I've been traveling around the world. In this, I know all the words, but it's a little crippled, my Telugu. If I live among Telugu people for a month, I think it'll all come back, because I know all the words, I'm not able to put it together in time. అవునండి, ఇంట్లో చిన్నప్పుడంతా తెలుగే మాట్లాడుతున్నాము. అంటే because we were living in Karnataka, our Telugu was little mixed up with Kannada, but not so bad because we were on the Andhra Pradesh border. Because Bangalore itself is an Andhra Pradesh border. Chikkaballapur, where my mother came from, was very much on the border. So Telugu was part of our home, part of the town where we lived, everything was Telugu. But last 40 years in my travels, and the Tamil language has kind of overtaken everything.
ముగించబోయే ముందు మీకు మరొకసారి నమస్కారం చెప్తూ, ఎన్నో జీవిత సత్యాలు తెలియజేశారు. ఈ కరోనా కాలంలో ఎలా ఉండాలి, జీవితాన్ని ఎలా నడుపుకోవాలనే విషయంలో ప్రేక్షకులకి అందరికీ కూడా మీ అమూల్యమైన సలహాలు, సూచనలు అమెరికా నుంచి ప్రత్యేకంగా సాక్షి పాఠకుల కోసం, ప్రేక్షకుల కోసం ఇచ్చినందుకు కృతజ్ఞతలు చెప్తూ మరోసారి నమస్కారం సద్గురు.
మీ సాక్షి ప్రేక్షకులకి అందరికీ ఈ 2 విషయాలు చెప్పాలండి మీరు. ఏమంటే, ఒకటి, the inner environment. This is 100% our responsibility, that this is joyful and well. Because only when this is joyful and well, we can do good things to other people and situations. But with the outside, with the environment, there's a serious concern. I beseech every one of you, in your mind, in your consciousness, you must be committed to this. As a part of this, monthly once, one tree, you can't plant it yourself. 42 rupees is not something that is beyond you. Even a beggar on the street can do this, I know this. Many beggars in Chennai are contributing to us, actually. So, one tree a month commitment at least you make, and please put it in Kaveri calling. These trees and this recovery will not be limited to Kaveri, it will come to Krishna, Godavari, Narmada, Ganga, everywhere it'll come, because we are working with the policy changes in the country right now. So please make this happen. One thing is the inner environment must be joyful, outer environment must be green and rich. Thank you very much.